Hello, everybody. My name is Philip Lorette, and this is going to be my lovely audience today.
I'm Renee.
Ron, David.
And I would like to firsthand welcome you to my speech on functional muscle training. Functional muscle training, a thing of the past, present, or future. Most people in society today exercise for a variety of reasons, including health, self esteem, strengthening of the muscles, cardiovascular system, and weight loss. But for many people, exercise can be highly beneficial to their everyday activities. Exercise can also contribute to improved motor function and coordination of everyday activities. According to the American Council on Exercise, training to enhance the working relationship between the nervous and muscular system can improve movements that are used in our everyday lives. In researching this speech, I have learned how certain jobs, sports, and everyday activities use a variety of different movements that regular strength and endurance training do not target. Today, I will introduce you to three types of training, including functional strength training, functional endurance training, and functional isometric training. Let's start by taking a look at some examples of functional strength training. Heavy lifting can play a role in everyday jobs and activities such as unloading and loading trucks, warehouse jobs, stocking jobs, construction jobs, or even a simple trip to the grocery store. You may be asking yourself, how can functional muscle training improve performance in these types of jobs and activities? According to the American Council on Exercise, functional strength training consists of doing work against resistance in a way that the improvements in strength directly improve the individual's movements, making their everyday life easier. For example, if somebody is working a job where they are loading trucks, they may be doing a lot of back extension in order to lift boxes onto the truck. Functional strength training would target these specific muscle groups in the lower back in order to make them stronger, to make them able to lift heavier boxes. Another example may be a warehouse job. If you work loading boxes from a conveyor belt to a truck, you're definitely putting a lot of pressure on your shoulders and core, moving side to side grabbing boxes. Functional strength training would target specific exercises involving multi-joint movements with core rotation combined with shoulder exercises to make moving boxes easier. If we compare this with regular strength training, such as isolated shoulder and core movements, we would not see the same effectiveness because the muscles will strengthen, but the individual will still lack the coordination they need to perform the job because the movement that they do every day is not being practiced against any resistive force. Now, you may be asking yourself, what if I work a more stationary type of job? Can functional strength training benefit me more than regular strength training? The answer to this question is yes. For example, let's take a look at a simple trip to the grocery store. When you're loading your bags into the trunk of your car, you may be doing a squatting motion to pick up the groceries out of your cart and put them into the trunk of your car. But as you turn to grab the next bag, you may be rotating as you pick the bag up. A normal squat would not be as effective in improving the coordination in this range of motion as a squat with core rotation combined with it. The squat with core rotation would be an example of an exercise associated with functional strength training. Functional strength training improves one's ability to lift heavier objects, which will improve performance and coordination in everyday activities. Now let's take a look at functional training that will improve speed and coordination. Some jobs in everyday activities in our everyday lives require speed and agility in order to enhance performance. These activities differ from those associated with functional strength training because they don't require an increase in strength in order to enhance performance. Increasing speed and agility in order to enhance performance in everyday activities is known as functional endurance training. Many jobs in today's society are very high-paced and require constant focus. Let's look at the service industry, for example. If you're working at a restaurant, you need to be able to move fast in order to accommodate each guest that comes into the restaurant. In order to accommodate each guest that comes into the restaurant, it can involve walking fast, coordination in fast-paced food preparation, or cleaning at a fast pace. If you are working as a cook on a food line, you could use exercises such as lunges combined with arm circles with high amounts of repetitions and short periods of rest. This is just an example, of course, but it would help increase speed in the lower body, while the arm circles would help increase speed and coordination in the upper body. This exercise would be an example of functional endurance training because it would help the cook work at a faster and more efficient pace. Many everyday activities also require speed and agility. Let's face it, we live in a very fast-paced society, and a lot of us may be on very tight schedules. Let's take getting dressed in the morning, for example. Functional endurance training would use full-body movements with high repetitions and little rest in order to make getting dressed easier to do at a quick pace. Another example may be cooking dinner. If you have just worked a long day at work and need to get to bed to get up early, you could use functional endurance training with coordination type exercises in order to increase your speed at cooking dinner. Functional training can also play a part in injury rehabilitation and physical therapy. Let's take a look at some examples. Now, let's face it, the baby boomer era is over, but the people who grew up in the era are all approaching the age where physical therapy is needed. Injury rehabilitation is a growing process as well. More and more sports teams and sports programs are developing every year, and the demand for injury rehabilitation will always be there. For most people, exercise can be difficult when a muscle is being rehabilitated and prevents certain exercises from being accomplished. Functional isometric training allows for muscles to be exercised without any movements being used in order to maintain muscle strength, endurance, and coordination. Some examples of these exercises include planks, side planks, and wall sits. Let's take a shoulder injury, for example. If somebody injures their shoulder and can't put any pressure on it, they can lie on their stomach and hold what's called a Superman pose. To demonstrate, this is where the arms are held forward in front of the head and the legs are lifted off the ground and the low back is flexed. This will strengthen the muscles in the shoulder, stretch the muscles in the shoulder, which will help them overall, but it will also be working out the core and the glutes as well. This will help the individual maintain his or her overall physical health while still being able to heal the injured muscle. Let's take knee surgery, for example. If somebody has knee surgery and can't flex and extend the knee joint, they can use a wall sit to work those muscles while keeping little to no pressure on the knee joint. Functional isometric training can also be used in other circumstances as well. If somebody is out of shape and has little experience with multi-joint movements, functional isometric training can be used to train those muscles to help coordinate the individual to be able to learn the movements with good form, rather than to possibly injure themselves so they can perform everyday tasks more efficiently. This can also be used to train people who are beginning to exercise regularly to breathe properly, as well for people who may have breathing problems and are exercising to help heal them so that they can perform everyday tasks more efficiently. As we have learned, functional muscle training can help improve our everyday lives in a variety of different areas in our lives and ways as well. I have put emphasis on functional strength training, functional endurance training, and functional isometric training. For people today, functional muscle training can be referred to as the light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you very much for listening to my speech today, and I hope that this will influence you to take part in functional muscle training. Thank you very much, and have a great day.
Good job, Fred.